expect it. Too late. Hey, welcome to
Oh,
Don't Worry, Don't Fret Friday.
I was
I'm
making
not
that
your
face.
host, but I'm the first one to jump on the message board here. So take it away, Joe. It's now Milk introducing our host.
I might be frozen.
He might be frozen. Joseph
Actually, it is cold.
Anderson. Okay.
It's cold in here, so I am kind of frozen.
Ooh,
But
yeah.
hopefully my video doesn't freeze.
Yeah. Okay.
but but I paused the Don't Worry Wednesday stream. I usually have it paused on the screen and then I pop out the chat and stuff. And I paused it. Both of us were making some pretty classic faces. Uh, but anyway, I can't look
Nice.
at that anymore, or else I'm gonna be distracted.
Distract yourself.
Welcome everyone to Don't Fret Friday. It's the Friday edition of Don't Worry Wednesday. We call it Don't Fret Friday because it's Friday.
That's right.
That's
Because we're
what it
original
is.
like that.
That's
We
right.
come on with yeah. Anyways.
Yes, and we are here, and you are here as well, and it's great to see all of you. This is the show, for those of you who don't know, this is the show that we handle any challenges, issues, or problems that you might be facing. You can just post them in the chat. You can post them at bss.studio, which Princess has posted the links and stuff. You can message us on Discord. You can also send us an email at dww@bss.studio, and let us know. If you want to remain anonymous, the email is probably the best way to do it. Just be sure that you put on there whether you want to be anonymous or share your screen name or whatever. So that would be great. So anyway, we are not professional therapists or policemen or lawyers or doctors or anything like that. We're not professional football players or basketball players or baseball players, or
That's correct.
we are not professional squishmallow seamstresses
That's because we're not
either.
women also. What's a seamstress called if they're a male?
That's a great question. Seamster?
Seamster? A seam store?
Seam store.
Because it's an OR, I'm
That sounds like a
sure.
place where you go to buy seams.
Yes, a
A
seam
seam
store is where
store.
you go to buy seamsters for your seamstresses so they can get married and you can have seamstresses. Okay. Guys, you're on a different I'm on a different level than you guys,
Wow,
clearly.
you are totally on a different level.
Yeah,
Like you are
you
you
don't
are a
even
level
get
beyond, man. Like
yeah.
I
I
can't
might be
even.
dumb. So
I don't
um
know. But anyway, yeah, so
is a
this is the
seamster.
show. This
Yeah.
is what we do. Post something.
Welcome.
We'll
Yeah,
talk
this is
about it.
what we
That's
do.
great.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It's a seamster. Thank you, Princess.
Yep.
Professional seamster. We are not that. But what we want to do is hang out with you guys. We want to encourage you. We want to love you. We want to pull up alongside you as a friend and help in any way we possibly can. And just offer some love and encouragement and some maybe some perspective along the way, because sometimes that helps. It helps to have an outside perspective when you're in the middle of something. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing because you might be looking at a situation like you're in this situation. If you had a friend that was in the same situation and asking you for advice, you'd probably know exactly what they should do. But because you're stuck in the middle of it, you don't see all the stuff from outside. So it always helps. I can't tell you how many times I've been helped by somebody just pointing out a few things that I didn't notice, and then when they point it out, I'm like, oh yeah, oh my gosh, how come I didn't notice that? And the reason is because you're in the middle of it and you don't
Yeah.
see all of it. So you're kind of
Mm-hmm.
bound by it. So anyway, that's what we try and do on this show. And we're glad all of you guys are here. We also have some other people working on this show. We have Jesse, who's producing the show. And
Mm-hmm.
Jesse brought us live, man. He is a total boss because
Yeah.
we were having some technical difficulties and he just was like, oh, I know how to fix it. I'm going to be gone for a minute. And then he was back like before we even knew he was gone, really. And then all of a sudden, it's working because he's amazing.
Yeah. For sure. He did great.
Yep.
Yeah. And also, we've got Princess and we've got all you guys.
Yep.
So, you guys actually help make the show be awesome because you guys are awesome, and that makes the show awesome.
That's
So,
right. That's right.
Yeah.
And I might be your host, but the star of the show is the P.
Okay, sure.
Yep.
We'll go with that.
The static EP.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. But actually, the star of the show is you guys in the chat, really. That's what we talk about. When we're doing live shows, we're like, hey, the reason we want to do live shows is because there's a chat. We can actually talk to people. We can hang out, and people are here, and we can interact, and it's way better than just doing a show, producing it, editing it, and putting it out there, and then people just watch it. Which that's got its place. That's fun.
Honestly, here's the thing: like, if we did these as video forms, we might actually get more views on them. But the more important thing is to do these with have you guys in the chat with us, because that's just so much more worth it. That's so much more for us and you.
It is, because then we get to hang out with y'all.
Absolutely.
And y'all are awesome.
So what do you say we jump into it?
We should totally jump into it. We've got some topics, and it looks like we've got people here with topics. And man, I tell you, this is pretty cool. So, all right. So I'm just gonna go down the list, and the star of the show is Joe's bongo. Ha! Bang! Nice. I got a guitar over here too. You might not be able to see it as well. Sometimes out of tune. It is. That one's a little better.
Ooh. Yeah.
That one's bad.
Yeah, you need to just tighten those.
Ugh. But I have my drum set like right off the screen right there, and that's what I've been working on lately. That's what I've been hanging out.
I'm excited to see what you got cooking up, man.
Yeah, we are in the midst of some massive recording sessions right now. Ryan and me and Steve, and we're gonna have a bunch of new music coming out.
That's right.
In the near future. So, and it's gonna be fun. Like I'm super excited. Ryan and I had a really long conversation the other day, and we're like, well, the answer is we just got to record a bunch of stuff. It's like, yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I want to do. So yeah, it's awesome. So anyway, yes, we are going to begin, and I'm just going to run down the list of names. And if you are here and you hear your name, then just do something in the chat.
Yeah, like
you can stand up and wave. What's up with a wombat?
Yeah, what's up with a wombat? Girl, what's up with a wombat in there?
What's up with a wombat? Nothing can beat the chase, though. That song was a bomb. Haley heard the chase. Has everybody heard the chase yet? Does everybody go to that link?
Right. Yes, the fake one.
Yep. That song.
By the way, guys, I didn't even post that. That was somebody else. That was my Gary. Don't even, my Gary. You're like, that exists? It's you, dude. Don't even.
Was it my Gary or was it Kat's?
It
was my Gary?
It was my Gary.
All right.
Kat's just shared it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for doing that. That was so funny. Great. I saw that. I was like, what? No way. Like we're planning this big event for the release of that one. Like and then it's out already. It's like, oh my gosh. And then I watched it. I was like,
did Ryan forget? Did he make a mistake? Did he forget what we were supposed to do? Oh.
It was great. So
yeah,
anyway,
you almost got me in trouble.
Totally. I was almost to dial Ryan's number and be like, what did you do?
Yeah. Never heard of it? Yeah. All good, Wave Slayer. It's a final episode of Criminal Idol. And someone released it as a joke, but it wasn't actually the song. Which would make sense because nobody has the song yet. So except for
what was the song at the beginning? Never gonna give you up.
Yep.
Never gonna let you down.
Yeah, we all got rickrolled. Even me, who
Well played, my Gary. Well played. So, all right. Well, here's the list of names. We've got Hyrule, Sumner Kagan, John Doe, Man Left Behind, Eric Bodine, Caffrey, Subaru, Amira, Superstars 111, JTJ, or Cherry. I've seen you here as Cherry so far. Nobody important, Rain Knight, Sparrow,
It's a
and
bit of wombat.
Joe. And I'm guessing Joe would be Joseph Kennedy. What's up with a wombat?
That's right. What's up with a wombat?
What's up with a wombat? All right.
What's up with a wombat?
Nice. Yeah. So what's your website name, Jared? So we can attach you to the right one on here.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Superstars
Superstar
111.
111. Awesome.
Sweet.
Sweet. I've been wondering. So that's great. Perfect. I think then you're up first.
You are totally. Yes. So Superstars 111 Struggles at Work is what it's called. So let's see here.
Hey, yo, mama. What's up with that? What's up with. Wait. No. Hey, yo, mama. What's with up? Or what's with up? Okay. Hey, yo, mama. What's with up?
What's up? Yeah, it's good.
What's with up?
Hey, because really, we just enjoy seeing what you guys type.
Yeah, honestly, that's the whole. It's kind of part of it. It's great.
Great.
You
This is
guys come with
great.
your own.
So, all right. So, Jared, thank you for your post. This is Superstars 111 Struggles at Work. And Princess has posted the link. She beat me to it. I was gonna beat her. And then she beat me.
That's not very kind of you two.
Hey, it's
Beating each other.
it's how it works, you know.
Oh,
She wins, I
okay.
lose.
Oh well.
So all right. So anyway, okay, so here it is. Click the link, you can read along. It's called Struggles at Work. And it says, I've been working at Chick-fil-A for over 3 years now. Over that time, I've worked hard and been promoted several times. I am now one of our senior leads. Naturally,
Nice.
there have been some ups and downs, but for the most part, I've enjoyed my job and the people I work with. A year ago, we hired a new director, one rank above me, Miss K, I'll call her. She's an older woman who previously worked at a different Chick-fil-A restaurant and transferred here when she moved across the country. She's contemptuous, manipulative, and I've caught her lying on a few occasions, but she does it all with a smile on her face to mask it. She'll say anything to try to get people on her good side, even if it isn't true. Now, we've been a good team, and most of our leaders can see through her. We're professionals, so we don't gossip about her or talk about her behind her back, but she's definitely not a popular person in the store. There are a few leaders who like her, but most don't. Our boss, of course, thinks she's great, partly because she'll say anything, but also because she's more submissive to him than she is to the rest of us. I've had coworkers and managers I didn't get along with before. So far, I've always managed to get it worked out. I'm not perfect, but I'll try to listen and understand where others are coming from, even if I don't like them. I don't talk about people behind their backs, and eventually, I'm always able to get to a place of understanding. But I've been trying to deal with Miss K for a year now. I've tried listening to her, I've tried talking to her, I've tried meeting her halfway, I've tried apologies, even when I didn't really think I was wrong. I've tried going out of my way for her, and I'm at a loss. If anything, she's more manipulative and contemptuous than before, and has an even sweeter smile on her face while she's doing it. Even though the other leaders in the store can see it and I don't and don't like her, I think I have it the worst. I'm in charge of our inventory management, which is one of the main areas she's been intruding on lately. And even if she weren't being problematic, her base personality really grates against me as well. I'm trying to love my enemy because at this point, that's honestly how I see her. But dang, it's rough. I frankly just want her to quit or be fired, but I know that's not going to happen. So I've just got to find a way to deal with her. And that is from Jared. And Jared,
Nice.
thank you so much for
Yeah,
the
thanks,
post.
Jared.
This is a tough situation, man, and I feel you because I've been there before. Not probably not the exact same situation, but I've definitely dealt with people who were above me at a job that were manipulative and
Mhm.
but the boss didn't see it. Their boss didn't see it, and ah, it can be frustrating. So I totally get you. Um, so a lot of times when I've dealt with this, I've tried my best to ignore it, and like just let it stew inside. Ryan, I'm sure, has a really great way of, channeling that energy and moving it towards something productive because that's what he does best. So I'm going to turn it to him.
Um, yeah, this is an interesting thing. I know I've had this with an actual boss or a boss of a Taco Bell, or the lead manager there, who was kind of like this, and it was really really just awful because all of the crew knew it. Um, and ultimately, it kind of got figured out by their higher ups, and she got fired. But that was after years and years and years and years of service. She had already been like serving or working in that environment for like 15, 20, maybe 25 years, maybe even more. I don't know. But anyways, so I get it. Um, yeah, it's rough. And there's just people out there that you'll encounter that are like this, right? Um, what do you do? It sounds like you've tried all of the appropriate um steps for trying to get on her good side, trying to come at her at different ways to get be friendly, to help um establish a relationship so that you can then move her forward. Here's what I'm thinking. If you've tried, because you said you've tried, um, you know, being nice, you've tried being submissive, you've tried um, all sorts of different stuff, right? I'm guessing you've tried, complimenting her and the things that are actually truly good in her. If you haven't, try that. That's good. That's important. But there comes a time where it's like all you can do is be incredibly patient with somebody, because everyone's going through life and everyone's got their sins to bear. Everyone's got their brokenness. Everyone's got their problems to work on, right?
Mhm.
Um, Unfortunately, this person, they've been rewarded for their sins, if you will, too long. If they've been manipulative, right? They've you know they pass a fake smile and so on, and people respond well to her. For example, this can happen anywhere in any relationship, but if you take the passive role of like someone wrongs you, but then you try to just say, "Oh, it's okay, I'll just let it go." Um, Now that's correct internally, but it is not correct externally.
Mm,
What I mean by that is allowing yourself to forgive and move on is the perfect thing to do.
mhm.
But to tell them and even reward them, or to like, hey, I'm just like they just did something terrible to me, so I have to get on their good side. So I'm going to do something really nice for them. Sometimes that works, but if it doesn't work, what ends up happening is you reward their bad behavior with good behavior, right? So, did you catch the mosquito?
Nope.
Oh, did you catch the
This is the
mosquito?
first mosquito of the year, you guys. There's a mosquito found its way in here.
That's okay. It's really distracting.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Just seeing you do that, I'm like, whoa.
Everybody's
Alright,
like, he's just grasping at the air.
yeah. He's practicing his taekwondo. Taekwondo.
Yep, it's
Um,
the grab move.
yeah, it's the grab, yeah. Oh, grabbed your nose. Okay, anyways, sorry. So back to kind of like how to solve this issue. The best thing you can do at this point, because it sounds like you've tried a lot of different avenues. I'm sure you've tried complimenting them, and you've tried, being their friend. You've tried trusting in them. You've tried respecting them, and nothing comes back to you. So, what you have to do in these scenarios is, first of all, be patient with them. Understand that they're a human being And just like every human being out there, they are capable of goodness. They are
Mhm.
capable of change. They are capable of figuring this out and fixing it. Okay. They have that potential that is built in them, right? There's no human being that can't develop something new about their personality or fix their issues um, to some, well, minus obviously physical reality. But regardless of physical reality, this is a mental thing, right? So it is entirely up to her whether she decides to change or not. But um, so you have to be extremely patient. Remember that being annoyed with somebody is okay, but it's also a lack of tolerance. So remind yourself, like, all right, I'm annoyed with this person because that person is doing something wrong. That person is doing something evil. So I'm annoyed at that, but I'm not going to be mad at the person. I'm not going to be mad at the person. I'm just going to be mad at their action. And what that does for you is it allows you to have pity on them because you can say, I want this person to be better. Like I don't care if they get fired or not. I don't care if their wrongs ever come to light. Alls I want is for this to be a like this person to get better here because then I don't have to deal with this stupid stuff, right? Like if only this person was better, none of this would happen, right? If only this person understood and could grow and change. So it's not like we want people to um break down and get hurt and stuff like that. We want our ultimate goal is for them to be better. So rather than desiring bad things for people, it's best to just desire that person to get better and stop doing bad things to themselves and to other people, right? So that's where this pity comes from. Once you have pity, once you can have that sort of love for them to desire what's better, what's best for them, um, then you can do this. Okay. This is ultimately um, the the um, the main point of this whole thing that I've said so far. Everything I've said is just to lead up to this point to get you in the right mind frame to then execute this plan. Okay, and I'm sure you've already got that mind frame going for you. Okay, I just wanted to include it in this so that you understand when I'm saying it that it comes from a specific point of mind frame, and that is I hope this person gets better. Next time they lie to you, especially if they're smiling, next time they do something that is clearly wrong, even though it's probably going to be the hardest thing you've ever done, you need to have a serious face, but a gentle one, a gentle but serious face, and say to them, don't do that. That's unholy. Or don't do that. That's wrong. Or don't do that. It makes you look bad. And I don't want you to look bad. That would probably be the best thing to say.
Mm. Mhm.
So if they lie to you, just say, please don't do that. You're better than that. Or please don't do that. That makes you look bad when you lie to me. And that's unnecessary. And yes, that's going to hurt them.
Mhm.
But there's something called tough love, and it is very important. When you can't get through to somebody through soft, gentle, fuzzy kind of love, right? Then the next thing you need to do is understand their their shell is not going to be broken by warm, fuzzy hugs. Their shell is broken by something that pierces their heart.
Mm.
And when something pierces their heart, then now there's a crack in their heart, crack in that stone heart, where then the gentleness can come in. Okay. That's my best analogy. It's like wearing armor. You got metal armor. The only way through it, you can, hit it with fuzzy gloves all you want. You can hug a person all you want. They don't feel it. The metal armor is in the way. You pierce it, then you can start to break away at it and you can get in there and then start to foster them. So the first thing to do is when they are wrong, when they are clearly wrong, when they are clearly telling a lie or when they're clearly being manipulative, then you need to point it out to them and say, hey, don't do that. It makes you look bad. And I don't want that for you. Because then you could follow that up immediately with something complimentative. So first you pierce their heart, right? You say, you tenderize their heart, or so to speak, right? You say something that will get them to kind of like knock it off, like, hey, I respect you more than this. So you need to respect yourself, type of thing. You have to then follow that up with a compliment, or follow that up with an endearing conversation. So if you say, hey, stop that. Seriously, you're making me lose my respect for you when you do that. And honestly, I think you're an awesome person. You got this going on. You got this going on. You've got this going on. Even if there are things that like are hard to find, you have to point out different things that you find that are good about them. Okay. And then, just end it with, but I don't want you to go down. I don't want to see you like this. I don't want to see you lying to me. Um, I don't want to have to lose my respect for you. Right. I want to be able to respect you. Um, Instead of like feel like I'm manipulative, or being manipulated, and so on. Right. Um, so it's important. It's kind of like it's the opposite of what they tell you in school and other places. Everyone always says you want a good, bad, good sandwich, like like compliment, uh, I don't know, um, correction, criticism, and then a
Mhm.
compliment,
Yeah.
right? That's good. That is good in practice. So do that. But in this scenario, when it comes to tough love, when it comes to someone who's not respecting themselves, someone who's being immoral to this degree, where they just keep on doing it over and over and over, and they've already had people, you know, reward this behavior for them for years, what you need to do is you need to have the opposite sandwich. And you need to have criticism, kindness, criticism. Criticism, uplifting comments, criticism. Because what that does, a criticism sandwich, yes. The opposite, the right.
Well,
Um,
could you leave it open faced too, like just criticism and then kindness, or is
you
the follow
can,
up with criticism?
you can, you can leave it open ended, but you want them to have a sour taste in their mouth.
Okay.
And the reason you want that is not to punish them. It's not to make them feel bad. You have to get across to them also in your small conversation you have with them, that you in no way are intending to just hurt them, because what the truth is they've already hurt themselves.
Mm.
And when they come to recognize their issues and they're faced with them face to face, it hurts. It hurts us all. And you can even make mention of that. Like I say, I always put a disclaimer before I do anything. So if I'm to like say this, I would be like, hey, you know, I the last thing I want you to do, the last thing I want for you to is get hurt. Um, but there's this character flaw here, and I'm going to tell you about it because I don't want to lose my respect for you, and I think you're an awesome person. But this is kind of like an issue for me. You do that, right? Just like that, quick and simple. So that was a disclaimer, criticism, kindness, criticism sandwich. All right.
You got a disclaimer for
There's
an
a
appetizer.
Yeah, disclaimer, appetizer, and then a criticism sandwich. And then they're going to respond. Okay? They're going to respond however they respond. But the thing is, it doesn't matter how they respond. The point was that you said what you said and they felt what they felt. Sometimes some people they go off on you and they get upset.
Yeah.
Some people they just are respectful and they go, "Okay."
Uh-huh.
They're like, uh uh-huh. Or some people, they go like, "You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know me."
Yeah.
There's all sorts of different responses,
Yeah.
okay? But the thing is, it doesn't matter. So whatever they respond with, whether it's gentle and kind, whether it's mean, whether it's rude, whether it's funny, it doesn't matter, because the point was you did what you were supposed to do.
Uh-huh.
Because if they're doing something that's bad, the best thing you can do is to point it out to them so they can start fixing it. So they can start noticing that other people notice it and that they don't want that. Because if you point out to them that it's eating at their soul and it's eating at their conscience and making them, that's part of what's making them feel bad, when they try to sleep at night and things like that, and you show that to them face to face, it makes it really real for them and it makes
Mhm.
them want to change it. Even if they laugh it off in that moment, even if they go off and it looks like they didn't learn a thing, because the truth is it lingers.
Right.
That's why you need to end with a criticism. Um, and I know that's hard. If you've never done this before, it can be an incredible challenge
Yeah.
because it's like I'm not good at giving criticism. Yeah, well, neither am I, to be honest. But that's what you need to do sometimes. You need to just point out the flaw so that people can recognize that in themselves, and notice other people notice it and desire to change it. Um, did all of that make sense? I sure hope so. Let me know in the comment section if that made sense to you. If you need me to clarify anything, I will absolutely do so. But with that, I'm going to hand it over to Joe.
I was I was really glad that you talked about that because that is so hugely important. And yeah, the one thing that was jumping out at me as you were saying that, and you handled it at the end was, be prepared for any type of response, like, because anything is possible. Like,
Hmm.
it could be a blowout. Like, they could be like super angry when that happens. There could be tears involved. There could be
Hmm.
like all kinds of emotion, like anger tears. You ever seen somebody so angry they start
Yeah.
crying?
Oh
Like,
yeah. I've been there
that's
when I was a kid
that
once.
yeah, that happened with one of my bosses. That happened with a boss that I had
Mhm.
when I worked at a car wash.
Oh
It
right,
was
right.
like that because this gal, I mean, she had kind of just gotten promoted. She was working through figuring out how to be a manager and all this kind of stuff. And she said something, and it was totally, I don't even remember what the issue was, but she wanted me to do something that was totally not right to do. And I just said, no, I'm not going to do that. Because that's, I mean, look, and the thing that it was hard. It was because there was this moment of like she felt disrespected, but she realized it was wrong, and so she knew that it was wrong of her to propose that, and then like so there was this whole crazy stressful ball going on in her brain, and I could almost see it like working itself in there because I was just like, no, that's I can't do that, whatever. And she got angry, and there were tears welling up because it was just like, how dare this person, he's denying my authority and all this kind of stuff. And like, I could just totally see all these thoughts going through her head, but he's right. It was like, dang it. And so like she ended up just kind of getting mad, having tears in her eyes, and then storming off into the office. But you know what happened was later on, like, we actually became great friends after that incident. Because she realized I didn't say it in a disrespectful way. I was just like, like, no, that's not the right thing to be doing. And she knew it. But me taking that stance and standing up, now we had this mutual respect for each other.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And it might take time to get to that point, but that does eventually happen with most of the time. Like, and especially if you approach it like Ryan was just talking about, that is so tactful and it really gets to the heart of the issue. And yeah, another thing too, like, if it goes long enough and it's just hard and it's just obnoxious and there doesn't seem to be anything, and you're just not getting anywhere with anything, um there there are times that it's appropriate to approach their superior and
Yes.
at least mention it. And but here's the way to do this. Like, I have experience with this as well. At the same car wash, the owner, now this is the guy that's the boss of everything, right? Like, he's the owner, right? He had this tendency of just exploding. Like, he had this, it was incredible. Like, he would whip through, and like, we I remember this one time. Okay, I was washing his Corvette. He brought it through the car wash, and I was getting the bugs, doing the bug thing off the front and everything, and doing all that stuff, right? And I apparently didn't quite get it as good as he wanted it, because he went through the car wash and he came back and he was just livid, man. He screeched up to the entrance to the car wash, and he pulled in there, and he got out and he slammed the door, and he grabbed the brush, that for cleaning the tires and bumpers and stuff, and he just, this is how you do it. You don't know what you're doing. Blah blah blah. And he just yelling and screaming and throws it and shoved me like there was some super physical stuff going on, right? Like, so it was hilarious. And um because I was just like, whoa, like my adrenaline was going crazy. That's another thing to watch out for when you experience this situation, even if you do it tactfully, like Ryan was talking about. One thing to expect: your heart's going to be pounding
Oh yeah,
and your
because
brain's going to be racing, and you're going to be like, oh. Just understand, when you get to that point, that's natural. That's what's going to happen. I almost guarantee it, because it's going to be like, this is uncharted territory. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh my gosh, I don't know. But so I was going through that. Like, he shoved me, and he grabs the broom, and he's doing all this stuff, right? And then he got back in his car, and he hit the button himself to start the car wash, and got back in his car before it started going through there, and went through. And 2 cars later, his mom came through. So you're thinking, well, this guy's the owner. He doesn't have a boss. Oh, but his mom shows up. And I knew her, she knew me, because I'd been there long enough to get to know, his family and all that kind of stuff, because they come through, got free car washes, right? So she comes through, she's like, oh, how's it going today? And I just said, I don't know why I said it, but I was like, oh, I'm good. I am concerned about Mark, though. I shouldn't have said that, but that was his name. There's lots of Marks out there.
yeah, that's
Um,
right. There's
I'm
lots of
I'm
marks that
con-
own car washes.
I'm concerned about him, because, man, he just seems like he's really stressed. I mean, sometimes he tends to get really angry sometimes, and I'm just concerned he's going to have really high blood pressure and give himself a heart attack. Like, and I had said this. So when here's the key: when I was approaching his superior, which was his mom, right? Somebody who would actually have authority to talk
Mhm.
to him about a situation, right? I approached it with a level of concern for him.
Right. Absolutely.
And that made all the difference. Like, he came back like 10 minutes later. Apparently his mom had talked to him. And he came back and he apologized, and he was all super nice and everything. And he was like, I know, it's hard. I'm dealing with all this other stuff. And he was explaining the situation. I'm like, I understand, Mark. I'm just concerned for you. I just it 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 upsets me to see you that way, because I want you to be healthy. I want you to be happy, and I'm trying the best I can. And then, but I don't want you to have a heart attack. The last thing I want to do is shovel up your dead corpse off of this car wash floor sometime, like.
Yeah, and I love the way that you approached that.
Yeah, well, and so if you talk to her superior, because you've said that they're kind of, they're oblivious to it, apparently, like they're
Mhm.
not noticing the manipulation, the contemptuousness, and they don't know about the lies, and they just like that she's got a good attitude and a smiley thing. It's all, I mean, that passive aggressiveness can be so hard to deal with. And so if you go to the superior, which is appropriate, you know the way to approach that is to say something to the effect of, I'm concerned about this person, because there seems to be a pattern of, I mean, she's really nice and she's really smiley and really positive looking, but behind it there seems to be this crazy manipulative contempt going on. And it's tough to describe, but I'm really concerned about it, because it's affecting me and it's affecting the other workers here. and it's really affecting her. Like, I don't want to. I just want her to be the best she can be. And if you approach it that way, rather than just spouting off and saying, if you go to her boss and just start ragging on her,
Mhm.
to her boss, then it'll probably just go in one ear and out the other, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, this is just a disgruntled employee. This is just a person that blah blah blah." You know.
Yeah.
But if you approach it with a genuine concern for her well-being to her boss, then they are more likely to take notice and be like, "Oh, they're concerned about the whole operation," because you are. You really are. When you're talking about this situation, you're concerned about the store as a whole, and that's her boss's concern, is the entire store, which includes all of you, her, the customers, the inventory, the technology, the cleanliness, the all that stuff, everything. And so if you approach it with that, like, I'm concerned about her, I'm concerned about the way she's fitting in, I'm concerned about how that meshes in with the whole operation, like, you can tailor it. I'm sure this these people, you know them better than I do. So you know how to word things to be effective, I'm sure. But again, be prepared. Like Ryan was saying, be prepared for any type of a response. Probably if you approach her boss, he'll there won't be much of a response. It'll just be like, okay, okay, yep, okay, you know, and I would, if you're gonna do that, I would probably do it like make an appointment or something. Like, don't try and just bombard them sometime when they just show up. You know, like, maybe say, "Hey, I got some stuff that's kind of important I'd like to talk to you about sometime. Is there a good time to do that?" And then you can approach it that way. And they'll give you a time you can set up something. And they might just say, "Well, how about right now?" I mean, I got a few minutes right now. Like, let's talk. That's a possibility too. But with her, be prepared for the blowout. Be prepared for, the storming off, maybe the silent treatment for a while, whatever. But like Ryan was saying, you're looking at the long game here of a behavioral fix that takes more than just a day.
Yep.
Like, this is going to take a while for her to recognize it, make the adjustments, make the corrections, and deal with this, so she on the other end of it is a more fulfilled and better, better feeling person. Better, she'll just be better. And but it's going to take some time. So you got to think of the long game here, instead of just like, I'm going to say this and then all of a sudden it's going to make an impact and it's going to be fixed tomorrow. Probably not. There's probably going to be some time, and it might be tense. It might be tense for a while. If you approach your boss's boss, you probably expect not much of a response. Just like, they're just information gathering. They're just taking it in, and they're going to try and decide what's the most appropriate way to address it. And they're not going to share that with you probably. They're going to have to think about that and figure out a way to do that. But um yeah, I mean, if this is going on with you and your other coworkers, clearly there's an issue here that needs to be addressed. And if you are the one to address it, no matter whether you go to your boss's boss or you go to your boss, you're probably going to have the heart pounding. You're probably going to have the sweaty palms. You're probably going to be nervous, and that's all normal. But on the other end of it, no matter what happens, you will know in your heart that you did the right thing, and that will feel so much better than anything else. I remember when I responded to my boss at the car wash, when not the owner, but the manager, right? When she was trying to get me to do something, I was like, "No, I'm not doing that. That's not appropriate for you to ask me." Like, I remember, like, I was kind of nervous because I'm like, I don't know, am I gonna lose my job? Am I gonna? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. And it was tense for a while. But she's the type of person that explodes and then gets over it pretty quick. So, I mean, like that. Yeah, I'm sure you know those types of people. They're the type of people that simmer on something for months. And then there are the type of people that explode, and it's hugely grandiose explosion, and then they're fine like 5 minutes later. She was more that type of person. But, anyway, you will know that you did the right thing in doing that, and go back and re-listen to Ryan's part over and over and over again, because that tact is exactly what you're gonna need, because the way he put that, the way he worded that was so respectful and so tactful, and yet piercingly effective at behavioral change. That's is brilliant, Ryan. I'm like sitting there, man, I ought to be taking notes. This is good stuff.
I
But
learned that from other people who have done that to me in the past. Um, so it's effective. It works.
mhm.
Um, my brother and my mom both had to do that to me at points, and I was
Oh,
like, okay, it works. It's effective. Um, but
you had a
even,
behavioral problem?
oh yeah, probably, yeah,
At least they said so.
yeah, of course. And even that's something that we have to do to ourselves sometimes too. You know, we have to kind of shape ourselves up and be like, hey, respect yourself more than that. You know better. Be more dignified as a human being, right? You have to tell
Mhm.
ourselves sometimes to like straighten up, and we can do that in a criticism sandwich, as Mike Gary called it,
Yeah.
um, where we point out a fault that's obvious within ourselves, and then say something good about ourselves, where we say like but I can get through this. I've gotten through other things before, and I'm good at this sort of thing.
Mhm.
So, or I'm good at this other aspect of it, and then finish it with, but I got to get better. So let's start. I think that's kind of how we fix ourselves too. So, um, yeah, one last thing I wanted to add here. It's not really adding to anything, but it's talking about something that Joe said, and that was, if you go to the boss and you're concerned for the employee, right? You go to them and you say, "Hey, I'm concerned for Miss K." Um, just that statement, opening up with that, changes everything, because the boss likes Miss K.
Uh-huh.
That's something you got to realize. So that comment has a lot of weight to it.
Mhm.
So saying, I'm concerned with Miss K. I fear that, then you can talk about what your concerns are, but make sure that you continue to say it in a way that they understand that you want what's best for them and what's best for the company. Just like Joe said, Joe gave some great examples. But yeah, if they like Miss K, that's the only thing like that. Like that's amazing, because now your comment about wanting the best for them has power behind it. Because if they didn't like Miss K and you come up and you say, I'm concerned about Miss K, and you start talking about it, they're just gonna be like, they're gonna take yours as a pure, like, they're only saying they're concerned because they don't like them. And I know they don't like them because I don't like them.
Right.
That's what people's mentality is. That's
Right.
just how people are. We assume other people don't like other people because we don't like them, or they would dislike them for the same reasons, just because we're us and we only know what we know. But
Mhm.
if they like them, then it's a whole other ballpark, because then it's like, oh, you like them and I like them. So we're on the same page, and we both want what's best for them. So we're on the same page, and you are saying these things and you're worried it will hurt her. I'll get on that page with you. I'll talk to them. We'll talk this out. I'll go to them and ask them, is something going on at home? Because the another someone was pointing out to me that it seems like you're kind of stressed out or whatever, because you're kind of like manipulating people, or you're lying when situations get tense and stuff like that. When you know we've all made
Mhm.
lies in our lives before, but let's etc. Right? So that's the sort of thing that does make the change. So that's a great example. You might actually have to do both of these things, and both times, like Joe said, if you get nervous, that's normal.
Yeah. Yep,
but
it's normal.
it helps.
You be prepared for the adrenaline rush because it's
Yep.
gonna happen.
And just like Joe
And
said, be prepared for them for any type of reaction.
mhm,
It might be, quiet. It might be loud. It might
yeah,
be funny. It might be joyful. It might be crying. Um, Honestly,
and
that's a pretty common response
mhm,
when it comes to something like this, because you just pierced their heart. You just opened it up, and they're letting everything, like when their emotions come out. I mean, yeah, it might be crying. But that's why you have to put a lot of meat in that sandwich, so to speak. You have to be really genuine with the things that you like about them
yeah.
and list them off, Um, you don't just have to give one. You should give a couple. But then continue on and make sure you finish off with the whole point of it. Um, which
Yeah,
was
you might not even get to fill the sandwich. Like you might just give them the first slice of bread of the initial pierce, and that might end it. Like they
that
might
might end
just
it,
be gone. And
like
so
Joe said, yeah.
then you'll be like, I had this whole thing prepared. Like,
Yeah.
dang it. Like
Yeah.
and
Right.
then they just
Right.
cut it off.
You know what
Oh.
though? If they cut off a slice of that sandwich and they only got one part, you can feed the rest of it to them later.
Yeah.
So keep that
Oh,
in mind.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. But understand, take the long view.
Mhm.
Always take the
I
long
love
view.
that you said that.
And I love that Ryan was like, their response doesn't matter because it
Mhm.
doesn't. That's just their emotional initial reaction. That's
Right.
not their over time reaction. Like that, what's important is that they're gonna think about it, they're gonna mull over it, they're gonna deal with it over time like that, right? The but that first shebang is irrelevant. It's going to tell you a little bit about their personality, and that's about it. But understand one thing to understand in this whole thing is what she's probably exhibiting is insecurity. She probably feels like the way this whole thing started, she came to a new place, new people, she's not really used to it. She's like supposed to be used to it because she's the manager, she's got to show she's used to it, but she's in a whole new environment, she's stressed about it and she's insecure. And so that to me that it seems classic. Like I see this situation and I see this happening, I'm like, oh yeah, it's insecurity for sure.
Mhm. Mhm.
And but like Ryan was saying, because that behavior has been rewarded over
Mhm.
time, now it's just the normal, like it's the normal day-to-day
Yeah.
operation, right? It's like
Right.
that's what she's adapted to behaving like. And so, but there's probably still some insecurity there, and that might come out. And it could come out in all kinds of emotions. But anyway, yep. So anyway, thanks for the topic. We went on in a while about that, but man, what a thing to unpack. And and go back and listen to Ryan again on this one. Green Machine, I see your I saw your comment. I think it was something that we could probably handle pretty quick.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Um,
Sure.
and so I'd like to just do it because it's timely. I mean, there's all kinds of things going on.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a
And
question on a lot of
they said
people's
they do
minds
have
right
to.
now.
You probably won't be able to stay for super long. So yeah, absolutely. Then let's just do it now. I'm
Yep.
down.
So I'll tell you my take. Okay, so we got a take on the on COVID-19, which is actually supposed to be what Ryan is COVID.
I made that up, but so COVID-19 is supposed to be short for coronavirus 19. So it's really
Coronavirus
COVID.
disease.
Oh yeah, disease. Yeah, coronavirus disease. So COVID is really
COVID.
more appropriate, or
Yeah.
COVID.
COVID-19.
Yeah,
Um,
COVID-19.
yep. Coronavirus disease 2019. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, so at any, at any rate, what's my take on it? I think it's definitely, from everything I've seen about it, is definitely something to take seriously. I think the media has gotten a hold of it and run with it and gone a little bit nuts on it, and um, I don't know if all the fear is necessary. I think precaution is necessary, and I think you can take those precautions, you can do the right things. Like I have hand sanitizer in my car. I have gloves in my car if I feel appropriate to use those. I still am working my inspections job. That apparently is essential. But a lot of things are on lockdown here in Michigan. Schools are not going back for the rest of the school year now. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And honestly, I am doing everything I can to take the precautions that are recommended. I will probably be taking masks with me in my car where I go, and if I feel like I need to use them, I will. Like I have with the gloves, the hand sanitizer. I use a lot more hand sanitizer now than I used to, and I wash my hands a lot more often now than I used to. I have a lot of interaction with my parents and my in-laws, so I want to keep them safe. It seems to be striking older people more than younger people. Like they're the most at risk anyway. So because I'm in touch with them a lot, I for their sake, I do the best I can to take every precaution necessary. And for me, it's great because I could sit by myself all day long and be completely happy because I'm an introvert.
Hmm.
But I understand that's a stressful point for some people. Some people need to be around others, and I understand that can be a hard thing to deal with. But I mean, that's pretty much my take on it. I think there's a lot of fear that's unnecessary, but I think the precautions have been laid out, and I think that we should do our best to take those precautions. And I am looking forward to hearing what Ryan says.
Sure. I mean, I very much agree with Joe, of course. Um, I think the objective is to be acknowledged, like to acknowledge it and to be take precautionary action. But pre- is that the right word? To be precautionate. Anyways, but not to have overwhelming fear.
Mhm.
Not to buy into all of the ideas or the media or the tension. I would say if you have anybody in your home who is listening to the news on a frequent basis right now, I would advise them to turn the TV off or to turn the TV off for them. And I say that like I'm not just gonna turn the TV off on my parents. I'll just get in trouble. Just do it and be like, hey, you when I was being raised as a kid, you were like, you can't watch this because it's bad for you. You can't watch this because this is bad for you. Because if you are spending all your day or even spending more than 30 minutes, honestly, spending 10 minutes is fine. But if you're spending more than 10 minutes a day listening to this negative report about all this disaster that is really just pinpointed things, right? The news always has something bad happening because you have entire of America, all the entirety of America to look at and say, where's something bad happening at? All right, let's
Uh-huh.
take that example. Let's take that
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
And then what happens is people start to go, oh, everything is bad outside. So I'm afraid of going outside. Like they become sincerely, like extremely afraid and anxious, and they start to kind of break down mentally. So um, the audio is breaking on static.
Yeah, you're a little staticky.
Okay, I
It's
can
all right.
fix
It
it in a
just goes
second.
with his name.
Yeah, I can fix it in a second. Um, so actually, I can fix it right now. It shouldn't take long.
Okay, speaking of the fear, I'll just roll with that because I like that. I'll just give a little short example. My in-laws don't watch this show, so I can talk about my mother-in-law. Um, she's she has imbibed in a lot of the fear media. Spends a lot of time on Facebook and on the news, and talks a lot about how scary everything is. And I understand, but it's amazing how illogical fear can be because she was very concerned about that I would go and get groceries. I bring groceries to their house. I go to the store and get groceries so they don't have to go and get them, and I bring them to their house. And she was concerned about going to the store and everything. And then like one day, she was asking about the store, and I had found out that she took like my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my wife, and my two kids all went to an ice cream place to get ice cream. And I was like, so wait a minute, wait. You're telling me that you're weirded out by me going into a store at a time when like hardly anybody's there, because I go at the very off peak hours, and I do the self checkout so I don't have to be close to anybody. And but you went to an ice cream stand, you took my kids to an ice cream stand where somebody that you don't know prepared food that you then put in your mouth. And it wasn't cooked food.
You're right. In fact, it was cold, which is better.
Like, I'm like, wait a second. Like, so the thing about the fear is that it's completely illogical. There is no logic when you're just going fear-based, you're not thinking logically. So if you can do anything, like I'm noticing in the chat too, that there's a lot of the same sentiment. Don't be afraid, just be cautious. Just take the precautions, take the proper precautions, but the fear will just skate the logic right out of your brain, and you'll be just you'll just be going one thing to the next, and you won't make logical decisions. So anyway, sorry, Ryan. Hopefully your audio is better now.
It's all good. Yeah, am I still crackly or am I fine now?
You're good now.
Awesome. So yeah, I mean, obviously that's kind of like my main point here. Just don't be precautious, take the precautive steps, but yeah, don't freak out. That's what a lot of people do. That's why we don't have toilet paper for no reason in stores. Like that whole thing didn't even make sense. The toilet paper doesn't help you with the virus. It was just people freaking out and going, oh no, I got to get to the store. And then the toilet paper happened to be the thing because toilet paper was what cast it on the news. They're like, oh no, everyone's buying out the toilet paper. So everyone got the idea, oh no, we have to go to the store and buy all the toilet paper before someone else does. When there's plenty of toilet paper for everybody. It's not even right, guys?
Yeah.
Like, it's dumb. So that's what happens when people start to let fear set in and direct them, right? And I think everybody in this chat knows that.
Yeah. Haley said it best. I once said that panic is the true virus. That's
panic. Yes, thank you. Yeah, really. And that's so true, Haley.
Eating
so
toilet paper. Oh
my gosh. No, Haley. No, it doesn't. Oh my gosh. Okay, anyways. How I'm handling it. I am not really dealing with it because I'm constantly at my house with nobody around me, like 24/7. I'm very used to this environment. When people are talking about the quarantine, everything's crazy because they're stuck in their house, and I'm like, I live in my house always. I never leave. But the only time I leave is to go to the store or drop some mail off. And just like, I'm precautious, I'm like, okay, yeah, someone here could have a virus. And here's the thing, I don't care if I get it because I know I'll recover. I'm not in my immune system is not compromised. Okay. So I'm not afraid of getting the virus, but I will do what I can to make sure to try to not get it. Right. Because I don't want it. I don't want to be sick. That'll slow me down. Right. So I'm just avoiding getting sick. But if I do get sick, I'm just going to be like, okay, now I have to slow down a little bit, but it's okay. And that's what it is for me. Now, there are people out there who are older or who do have compromised immune system, and I would say be a little bit more precautive. Ask someone else to go to the store for you. Then wash your stuff when you buy it. Stuff like that. Yeah. Sanitize, whatever, all that, right? It's good. But yeah, I barely ever leave my house. So it's not really like a big deal for me. Nothing's different. Which is cool. I don't have to stop working, But here's the thing, like, no matter who you are, you don't have to stop. I think the worst thing you can do right now is to stop because there's so many opportunities going on right now.
Yeah.
Because so many people are stopping.
Kick it into high gear.
Awful. Yes, exactly. And we've talked about this many times on the stream. This is a huge opportunity for you and so many other people. You have this time off. Don't like it's not necessarily completely off, right? You still have obligations,
Yeah.
but use this time and search for opportunities that exist right now and
Mhm.
make the best of this moment because this might be a once in a lifetime thing. And there are people, I'm going to tell you right now for certain, there are companies that don't exist right now that will be created in this time frame that will be millionaires because of it.
Mhm. Yep.
And that's not just for money, too. That's influencing people's lives. There are people who are currently going through something that they don't like, and
Uh-huh.
you're going to step into their life and you're going to give them a little bit of enlightenment and wisdom and hope. And you're going to be opportunistic and you're going to invite them along for the opportunity. And it's going to change their life and it's going to
Mhm.
redirect their understanding of social situations.
Mhm.
This is not a moment to pause. This is a moment for acceleration.
That's right.
And I hope that everyone in this chat understands that.
Yeah. Well, at Black Static and Swerve, so we've got our personal things what we're doing, but Black Static and Swerve as a whole, we just kicked it up a bunch of notches.
Mm-hmm.
Like as soon as this was starting to hit, we were like, "Oh my gosh, now's the time! Now's the time!" Because everything we do is digital, everything we do is online, everything. Like we don't even meet in person with each other. We have meetings on Zoom because we've been doing that for years.
Yeah,
Because that's
honestly.
we all live all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're like, oh my gosh, now's the time. So now what you see Don't Worry Wednesday 3 times a week. You see Double Cup of Joe launched. That's
Mm-hmm.
every day, 5 days a week,
That's been trying to be launched for like a year.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
finally it was like, you know what? Let's just put the hammer on it. Let's go.
Now's the time because it wasn't going to be a live show. And then we're like, well, let's just make it a live show. Then it only takes like that 1 hour,
Mm-hmm.
rather than all the hours of editing
Thanks,
and
Joseph
producing
Kennedy.
and stuff. Yes,
We
thank
got
you.
another Joe
So
in the chat, so of course he thinks it's pretty good, right?
yep, we need to create a Discord server. Yeah, like totally.
Oh
Create a
yeah, we're
Discord
on it.
server. Start whatever. And this is a reach out to all of you guys. You can either, you know, we're gonna be needing more people to work with because we're super crazy. We used to only do one conference call per week. Now we do two because we've
Mm-hmm.
got so many things on our plate to do. We're just like, oh my gosh, now it's crazy. Like, because like now's the time. Now's the time to do this. And for you, maybe you've been thinking about starting a Twitch stream. Maybe you've been thinking about writing a book. Maybe you've been thinking about starting something. Now's the time. Exactly now. And yeah, so I mean, yeah, you can entertain yourself. I spend time and I take in entertainment too. I watch stuff on Amazon Prime from time to time as well, but I do less of that now because it's like we got some stuff to do, man, and it's way more fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I promise you're totally gonna be able to do it. So anyway, sorry
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, I'm gonna interrupt you and talk
Oh,
and
all
stuff.
good.
I'm
No, that
so
was great.
sorry.
I didn't have anything else. The only thing I have to say is I was saying precautive, and every time I said it, I'm like, that is not the word. Precautionary. Got it. There we go.
Precautionary.
I figured out. That's the word I was looking for. Precautionary.
You have to be
Precautionary.
precautive.
Yeah. To be cautious, but to arrange oneself to be cautious. So
Uh-huh.
pre-cautious.
Uh-huh.
And yeah.
Yes. Green Machine doesn't have a Discord right now. Well, you can get on there maybe.
Oh,
If there's some reason you can't, I'm sorry, that kind of stinks, but you know,
yep.
go to
Go to
bss.studio.
bss.studio. You've got a web browser. I know that because you're currently talking to us, or you've got a phone. Either way, both of them can access bss.studio. Or if you want, www.bss.studio, if it helps you understand what I mean. There you
Yeah.
go. There's a link. Um, and that will send you to our community. And we are currently working on the website. So things are kind of up in the air. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, feel free to, if you've got any creative things that are going on that you're making, whether you sew, whether you create art, whether you sing, maybe you create new swimming styles. Like it doesn't matter if it's something that you do that's cool, cool to you, and you might be thinking other people won't think it's cool. Just post it,
Yeah.
um,
Just do it.
because there's a section for that, and we're looking for people who are talented in all sorts of different stuff, and we want to promote you guys. So
Yep.
yep.
Yeah, we're looking to make more shows, and it's all really about you guys. Like that
Mhm.
that was the reason we were like, hey, our community is going to be more available.
Mm.
And it's like, oh, now's the time. Now's the time to hang out with them, get to know them, see what makes them tick. Get and it was like, wow, it's so great. And it's so great to see you guys. And I thank every single one of you that's been on Double Cup of Joe show with us. We're getting a great crowd. The show is only 2 weeks old,
Yeah.
and we're starting to get a crowd, and it's fun. I mean, you guys are there in the chat and having a good time, and we love being there with you guys. And we're gonna try and it's kind of up in the air. We're trying to structure this as we go. We're just like, we just need to launch it. We just need to start. And
Yeah.
we totally did the ready. We did the ready, fire, aim approach, where we're just like, we're just gonna start shooting, and if we're hitting something, we know to stay pointed at that.
There
If we're
you
not
go.
hitting something, we need to move.
That's right. That's right, man. Green Machine wants to know, how do we do Double Cup of Joe?
Oh, it's on this channel. Subscribe to this channel, and it's on at 7
Hit the
o'clock
bell so that
Eastern time. 7 in the morning Eastern.
Eastern. So if you live somewhere else, it'll obviously be a different time for you. Hit the bell so that you're notified. I'm telling you, I set an alarm for the show, and I come on whether I'm awake or sleeping, whether I haven't slept yet
It's
or I have
weird.
slept before it. I come on because let me tell you, like, you don't want to miss this show. When you go through it, like, you wake up in the morning or you wake up the next day if you just stayed up all night, whatever, and you just you feel excited about the day. Like, everything feels right. So, like, the more good information you get in your body, like, the better, pretty much, just like food. And so, well, no, with food you kind of have to stop at some point. But anyways, uh, but anyways, yeah, absolutely. I say come to the show. And I'm not advertising it just because like we make money off of it, because we don't.
Right.
Um, so
We do have a
come.
copyright claim though, because
Oh,
of the
true.
songs that are on
Because of the
there. We have
songs.
a
Yeah,
little
that's
bit of
true.
copyright claim. So we
That's
get
true.
like a tenth of a penny.
We get a tenth of a penny for your view. Yeah. I'm not saying come to it because we want to make you be there. We want you to be there because you're awesome. And the more you participate in the chat is awesome. So anyways, Green Machine, have a good one. You stay safe out there as well.
Yep.
And
And
we'll
subscribe to the channel,
this
ring the
one.
bell so you won't miss a Double Cup of Joe show. It'll be back again on Monday.
My Gary wants to know if there's Double Cup of Joe on any podcasts, apps, or sites.
Nope, not yet. Well, there's Don't Worry Wednesday podcast, but they're kind of old.
Right.
There's 20 some. I think there's like 22 topics. Because what we did with the Don't Worry Wednesday podcast, we haven't uploaded any in a while. It just got to be a lot of work, and we had a bunch of other stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Akil, some of the Don't Worry episodes are on Spotify. Yep, you can find them on Spotify or Apple, Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever that is. I'm not an Apple person, so I don't know what the podcasting thing is for Apple.
Yeah, we're
And
looking
it's
to expand.
also on Podbean, and Stitcher.
That's right. Podbean and Stitcher. So if you use those sites, it's there too. I like Podbean. But
Yep.
yeah, if you guys so here's the thing, like we are looking to expand that, but not immediately. Eventually
Yeah.
we want to start cranking stuff into that. But the problem right now is time constraints.
Yeah.
A lot of us don't have the time for it. So right now
Yeah.
that's been on hold for a while, but eventually we'll start getting some podcasts out.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be fun. What I really want to do right now though is I'm going to start recording, because we do these on a conference call. Like it's me and Joe on the conference call, and I'm already a morning person, right? So I've been up and I've had a couple cups of coffee before we even get on the stream, and I'm already rearing to go. But I'm going to record it, and so all of you guys can see Joe first thing in the morning. Because he's not a morning person yet. He's hilarious. Like he gets on there and he's just like, and then he shapes up. And I hope he's watching.
It's all good though,
because he's hilarious.
But it's amazing because he still does it. Shows his commitment, and I love that about him.
And by the time the show starts, he's ready.
He's up. Yeah, he's ready. Yeah,
yep.
he's
but
like,
when he first joins us on the conference, he's like, It's hilarious. I'm like, I'm gonna record that, like make a video of outtakes or something.
Oh man. So Joe, did you ever press record for the session?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just started an hour in,
Hey,
but
good.
that's all right.
Better than nothing. So
Yeah, it's better
now,
than nothing.
yeah, that's good.
So
But
yeah,
anyway,
what do
yeah,
we what do you say about getting to another topic here?
yeah. Cherry, Journey to Japan. I noticed you're in the chat as Cherry today.
That's right.
But yeah, are you still here? Because we'd be happy to do yours next. I changed my name to Aura on the website. Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
Thank you. I don't know what I'm
I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Join the club.
That's all right.
Well, it's kind of like we're doing so many things we don't even know what we're doing yet. But all right,
Yeah.
you have one. You actually have two here. Do you want us to do a true feeling of loneliness or still not sure? Because we could do either, and I
Or we
figure
just
it'd
flip
be
them.
best to give you the choice. The loneliness one. Okay. A True
Okay.
Feeling of Loneliness
Wonderful.
by Cherry. And oh, she's so good. She posted it. Good job.
Thank
Good
you,
job, princess.
princess.
All right. So Cherry changes their name a bunch. It's always fun because they're all cool names. Like
Yeah.
every name I ever come up with is dumb.
That's
Like
not true.
it's kind of true.
Okay.
I couldn't come up with a cool name, and so we had to put letters into a randomizer to come up with CDVNL.
And you liked it enough because that's actually like
It's like,
CD vinyl. I was like, sweet, I'll
yeah,
take
it's
it.
actually, yeah, but I didn't come up with that. A
Right.
computer came up with
A
that.
computer came up with that name.
Jesse wrote a script that came up with that.
Man, I still wish you would have went with Turkish Taco House.
Well, we still can.
Yeah,
I
I
got a
love
whole
that
bunch of
one.
band names. There's a Turkish Taco House. Now now somebody else is gonna do it.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Joseph Kennedy. You know what? Honestly, the reason for CDVNL, I've gotten a lot of flack for that from people I know. They're like, "That's so dumb." Like, yeah, but you know why I did it? They're like, "Why?" It's because nobody else has that name. It's unique. My real name is Joe Anderson. You know how many other Joe Andersons there are? There were like 2 other Joe Andersons in my school when I was at school.
Yeah.
I'm like, so if I
That's a
was
lot.
like if I was Joe Anderson, you know, there's a Joe Anderson actor. There's a bunch of Joe Andersons on all this stuff.
Bunch of
But
Joe Anderson musicians.
there are all kinds of, and you can't come up with I tried Mr. Anderson. I tried Joseph Anderson. I tried Joseph C. Anderson. I tried uh I tried Mr. Anderson, but that's like
Oh,
Neo,
geez.
right? So like
Yeah.
everybody's that. Mr. Joseph,
Mr.
Saint
Anderson.
Joseph. You know, like I tried all kinds of stuff. I was like Joseph Street. Ryan's like, I didn't even hear any of these ones. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
That's
But
all good.
anyway, CDVNL, everybody knows who I am wherever I go. They know it's me because of those letters. It's like my call letters. So I like it.
Yeah.
Um,
A single duel is a good one too. Single duel is actually Joe and Steve
yep,
collaborative.
that's me and Steve collaborating. So, and that's where he does the guitar solos on a lot of stuff because he's just a mad
That's a cool
lead
name.
guitarist. Yeah.
Joander Arc.
Jojo the Yo-Yo.
Jojo the Yo-Yo.
Yeah. All
See,
right.
okay, now you've opened up a whole nother can of wet fish with
Yep. So
JoJo.
somebody start a topic of cool names. That'd be
Yeah,
great. You can put it under the CDVNL topic, actually, if you want to do that. That'd be fine.
there you go.
But all right, well, let's get to this one. Aura, a true feeling of loneliness. And click the link. The link's not there anymore because we've talked too much since. So I'm gonna put it again. Ha ha. All right. And it goes like this. I've never quite fit in. I've never felt like I really belong anywhere, and I'm sorry that this post might be a little emotional, and I'm sorry if people mistake this for a pity party or manipulation, but this is an issue that I've always had, and it's never been solved. I've always seen people being praised and cheered all around me, but I've always been looked down upon. All of my family is treated equally except for me, and it hurts. It feels lonely. I'm never taken seriously by my family, my friends, or anyone I meet in real life. When people talk about me or to me, they ignore all of the good things and skip to the bad things or the things that put me down. I can give them the world, accidentally drop it and shatter it, and they'd ignore the part where I gave the world to them and only acknowledge the part where I dropped it, even though it was an accident. It's always this way, and I'm always made fun of by everyone for every slip up I make. I can't even begin to count the many times I've been called stupid and ugly. It's as if nothing I do matters because I'm never taken seriously and only made fun of for my flaws all the time by everyone I know in real life. Then it all begins to make sense. The reason why I bottle everything up, why that then leads me to cutting, why I always flee to the darkness and push away any advice or help I'm given. Having been treated like this all my life, I don't feel like there's anywhere I fit in or anything that could help or change it, as much as I desperately try. I need some words that could really hit me, but at this point, would that even really do anything? But this community is special to me. It's been a place that I do feel I fit in, whether my bad habits prove it or not. When I first discovered Static's music, I instantly fell in love with the music, the community, and everything surrounding it. Me too. This community and Static's music have made me feel like nothing else has, a feeling of belonging and understanding. I truly do love and admire this community, so I'm sorry if it seems like I'm trying to get back into the Discord just to prove people wrong, or if I still carry some bad habits, or if it does seem like I'm throwing a pity party or being manipulative. The truth is that I love you all more than any words could ever describe. I want to be part of this community in every way that I can because being with you all is a blessing. I know it might be selfish to get people to do something for my sake, but with how much I've changed, it's easy to tell that it's not just me, but that there's a real issue here other than me that I feel should be fixed. I know I'm not perfect, but anyways, this is getting off topic. I'm sorry. How do I get people to stop looking down on me when no one pays attention to my good moments? The moments I do something smart, the moments I do something nice, the moments I do something brave. I don't want to seem egotistical ever because that's gross, and I don't have the bravery to quite speak up for myself in real life. Ah, I understand that feeling. The You don't want to seem egotistical, but you don't want to speak up to promote yourself. Like I yes, I totally get that. So and that is from Cherry or Aura, whatever. Pick pick the name that you most feel you want to go by at any given moment, and we will do our best to respect those wishes. But thank you for posting. This is definitely conundrum, and you are very much a part of this community. You are very much a part of this community. I know there was some stuff. I mean, you talk about the Discord thing. There was an issue a while back where I think you were banned by some of the mods there, and it's we don't have control over that. And honestly, you know, one Discord group isn't going to make or break you. You are part of this community,
Mm-hmm.
and you're here on our YouTube. You're here at bss.studio, and we're starting a BSS, another BSS server on Discord. And so, whatever happens, happens. And just understand that whatever happens with that other one, you are part of this community. And we love you and we accept you because we all have faults too. And so we expect that, everybody's going to have some stuff to deal with. And it's totally okay. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan because he's brilliant.
Oh, well, thank you.
And my chair is squeaky. Let me see if I can do that again.
A
No,
little bit. I think it's when you rotate a little bit.
I got to be pointed in the right direction. I'll figure it out. Anyway,
All
go
right,
ahead.
you figure out your
I'll do
chair
it right
squeak
when you're
while.
in the middle of something really profound. I'm
Please
gonna
do.
squeak my chair.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. So my chair squeak. So yeah, Cherry. just like Joe said, you are a part of this community. And I understand wanting to be more a part of it. Um, but you know what? I'm here on Don't Worry Wednesday almost infinitely more than I am on Static P Friends right now.
And go to the
Um,
Twitch streams.
Now it's not just about me, of course. There's all these other people, but all these other people are also here on Don't Worry Wednesday.
Mhm.
So you you are definitely part of this community. You contribute a lot. So don't think that we don't respect you or anything like that. You're awesome. We love you, man. But continuing on. Um, so how do you get people to stop looking down on you when no one pays attention to your good moments, right? Here's the thing. You can't get people to do that. The truth is sad. There are people in your life who will do that, and that's the type of person they are. And there are people who will not do that, and that's the type of person they are. And you might see them compliment some people, but not others. That's just because that's the type of person they are. They have a certain relationship with someone, or a certain like it's. I have a interesting example of this. Let's say you get a stepdad, right? You get a new stepdad, and it's been years, and you've already had him as a stepdad. It's been years, and you've never called him dad once. Now all of a sudden, randomly, just one day, start calling him dad. That's hard. It's not hard because it's intense. It's not hard because you have to find the right words. No, it's just mentally hard because you're like, what will they think of me if I just did that? Would they be, oh, even if they would be fine with it, it's just still really hard. Like, I can't get myself to say it, right? It's weird. And it's the same thing for people who haven't been complimentative towards you. If they if they've never been the type of person to point out your good traits, then they might never be. It's their own personal choice. It's their own personal change, and it can be very hard. Sometimes we have established um, kind of personalities with certain people. I had a group of friends that I was one way with, and we had a blast, and there was nothing wrong with that. And I was completely different around a different group of people, and there was nothing wrong with that. Um, and that's just how we are as humans, and it's good. It is good. It's normal, but we have these habits, and sometimes they're bad. Sometimes we get in this habit with somebody where it's like all we ever do is pick on them. And then it becomes really hard to start actually not picking on them and being nice instead. Like I know people who they they pick on each other for fun, but it actually slowly, gets up and like slowly bottles up, and like the relationship is tattered to some degree. It's torn, it's shaken constantly between those people because they can't get over the whole like, oh, but when I'm around them, we're always bantering. That's just what we do. And it's like, well, stop because you are intentionally saying mean things and you're hurting them. Whether they think it's funny and you think it's funny or not, it is actually hurting them because you just stop. That'd be great. Um, but again, that's hard. It's hard to just change our relationships. So, how do you get people to stop looking down on you? I would say stop worrying about it. Now I understand you want to be respected. You want people to celebrate your goodness like you do for them. The best thing you can do is do it for them. And if they don't do it back, that's okay. They don't owe you anything. You're doing it for them because you want them to feel respected, right? If you want people to stop looking down at you, make sure you don't look down at yourself. That's the best way out. Because, for example, I used to, now here's the thing. Here's the thing. This might be different, but I used to think everybody looked down at me because they would point out my flaws, right? When I was in school and stuff like that. But the moment I started to develop myself and stop looking down on myself, the moment where I started looking up at myself, like, I don't know if that's like even a phrase, instead of looking down on myself and making myself feel bad, I I consistently, over and over in my brain, in my mental talk, lifted myself up. It made myself seem powerful. It's made myself, to me, seem like I can make a difference. I can change who I am and I can change other people around me. I'm a human being and I have dignity and I should be respected. But in order to do that, I got to respect other people. So what I started doing is I started lifting other people up around me while I lifted myself up. What happened was the higher I looked at myself, the better my self-esteem, the better my humility in that, because you have to have both of them. Because if you, like you said, you don't want to be egotistical, right? Being egotistical is um, the best way to combat that is to have humility. Now, humility isn't looking down on yourself, right? That's what a lot of people think humility is. A lot of people think that humility is putting ourselves below everybody else. And I hear it all the time. Putting oneself below another is humility, but that is not true. That's not a virtue. That's looking at yourself really poorly and not loving yourself and allowing other people to do bad things to you and that being okay and things like that. None of that is humility. Humility is recognizing and loving oneself and then understanding everybody else's deserving of that same recognition, affirmation, approval, and love and respect. You have to respect yourself and then respect others the same way you would respect yourself and never put yourself above another person, right? Right? But don't put yourself below them either. You can put yourself below them in the aspect of like, oh, I have a lot to learn from them, right? That's absolutely true. And we should always be putting ourselves in that position around everybody, right? But when it comes to value as a human being, when it comes to what matters most, you are not below anybody. In fact, you kind of have to save yourself before you can save anybody else. It's just like if you go out like swimming and all of a sudden you start to drown and you see your buddies drowning, it doesn't do either of you any good if you like go up to him and then drown yourself so that he can be out of the water for like 3 seconds more and then drown, right? That doesn't do anything. You have to save yourself, right? Like if there's a boat, you have to get up on the boat and then pull him in. Because here's the thing. You can't control another person. You can't control how they swim. You can't control their reaction. So there's a boat right next to you, but he's not getting to it. All you can do is try to get to it. And then you can help save them, right? Or you can work together, right? You can work together to save one person and that person saves the other. That's fine too, right? Just like the crab in the bucket example. One crab lets another crab crawl on top of it. They can actually just get out. But crabs always reach each other and pull them down, right? But if they work together, they can work it out, right? Now, that's humility. That's putting trust in somebody else, right? So, I say all this to understand, don't look down on yourself and hold yourself with respect. Other people will start respecting you for that. It's interesting, but it's true. When you start walking around with a smile on your face, when you start walking around with, oh, nobody can push me over type of attitude, you've got people who will try to push you down, people who will make fun of you, people who will insult you, people who say bad things. That will hurt. But then you go, you know what? And go and get me down. Why? I'm just as valuable as they are. I'm amazing. It doesn't matter what people say. If people point out a fault, then yeah, that's a fault of mine. Hey, I can work on that. This isn't like my adventure doesn't end here. My life story doesn't end here. Like I still got places to go, you know? So when you can be a solid rock that people like can like push up against and they make fun of and they look down on, right? And you don't even budge and you just smile through it, and you are kind to them, and you just lift them up regardless, right? Sounds crazy. Now, of course, when you point out people's flaws, that's okay too, right? If they're doing something mean, it's okay to be like, hey, that's kind of inappropriate. But hold yourself with a certain type of like respect when you say that. Not like not like shying away from it. Not like, oh no, I'm afraid that our friendship is gonna break now because I'm saying this. You have to be more assertive and like be like, hey, that's not cool. We're friends, but that's not friendly. You know, when you hold yourself with that kind of confidence, other people will start admiring you for your confidence and start wanting to be more respectful. It's interesting how we look at ourselves changes our attitude, and it changes how others see us. And I can tell you it is true. I've lived that. Um, People are attracted to me a lot of times because I'm because I don't think I'm unattractive. I used to think I was unattractive, right? I don't mean just physically. I mean mentally, right? I'm not a good person to be around. Like I don't want people to be around me. I don't like people. That's unattractive. I don't know how to compliment people. I don't know how to take a compliment. That's not attractive. When I started to notice, hey, I'm actually pretty awesome. I'm pretty freaking awesome.
You are.
Yeah, I am. And that's
You were
okay.
before you even started saying that to yourself.
Exactly. Because everyone is. When we recognize that, in other people and ourselves, people go, hey, you're different, but I want to be around you more. Like, you start to be attractive to other people because of your personality, just because you think yourself is attractive. And it's not like, there's that whole, I don't know what it's called. Um, what you believe is what you get type of thing. It's not exactly that. It's not like you wish it into the universe and therefore it exists. It's not like new agey thing like that, right? It's literally just the way you think about yourself changes your attitude. The way you think about yourself changes how you interact with people, changes how you act to certain situations. How you think about yourself is so, so, so important. And it's not, many times I say, it doesn't matter how other people see you. It's not a matter of what you look like. It's not a matter of whether you're, um, whether you are, what's the word? Impressive to other people. It's a matter of what they think of themselves, right? And I've said that so many times, and
Yeah,
it's true.
it's so true.
But here's the thing: if you don't look at yourself with respect, if you don't think you're attractive, how are you gonna? How is anybody else going to? Because every time anyone else tries to say something like that, like, "Oh wow, you're attractive," you shoot them down, or you don't hold yourself in that way where you look like you've got things put together. You you know. Um, so as much as it matters how they think of themselves, right? It means nothing if you don't think of yourself the right way, right? So again, it doesn't matter what you look like to them, it matters what they look like to themselves. But equal to that, it matters a whole heck of a lot what you look like to yourself. What's your mental image of you?
Mhm.
Because every one of us has to keep that, maintain it. We are our own friends or enemies inside of our body. It's if we can be our friend, that like then we're on our side, right? And here's the thing, Jerry. I know you've made huge hurdles in this already. You've already developed so much. But my whole point of saying this is if you are worried about people looking down on you, then you're worrying about the wrong thing. And I love you because you say you have a hard time taking advice from other people and stuff like that. Dude, no, you don't. No, you don't. Because I know you've been taking advice that we've had on here and Don't Worry Wednesday. And I know plenty of other people, including the old version of myself, who listen to nobody, who don't even ask questions to get answers because we don't want to. It's too humiliating. So, Cherry, you're amazing. Don't even think for a second that you're not. You've come so far already. Don't think for a second that you haven't. So, but yeah, if you're worried about people looking down on you, I think you're worried about the wrong thing. You should be able to get to a point where it doesn't matter if people look down at you, because you know who you are and you know you're amazing, and nothing anyone can say can stop you from being you and being amazing and stop you from doing the things that are good. Those good things, here's the thing, God knows them. That's all that matters, because one day those people aren't going to be here and you're not going to be here either. But you know what will be here? The lasting effects of the good and gifts that you give to the world.
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter if people look at you like you're terrible. There are people who looked at Thomas Edison as a terrible human being. There are people
Yeah,
who look at him that way today.
yeah,
But you
very
know
true.
what? We're all thankful to him. He's done a lot of good, as much bad as he's done. And he's done bad. Don't get me wrong. He's also done good,
I got light
right?
bulbs because of him.
Yeah, absolutely. All over the place,
Yeah,
right?
they're shining at me so you can see my
And
face.
and nothing anyone told him ever held him back. And that's why the good that he did was spread so strong.
Mhm.
Because if you let people who said, if he let it get to him, like people were looking down on him, people were like, you're taking that technology from somewhere else. It's like, yeah, of course I am. A good idea is a good idea. Duh. Like if he let people get to him, if people were like, that'll never work, you'll never make the light bulb, whatever, right? People told him that.
Mhm.
If he just let those people get to him, if it mattered to him how people looked at him, then he would have stopped, and we wouldn't have as much good in this world.
Mhm.
That's just one random example of a random person. That's true to everybody,
Mm.
whether they're famous or not.
Yeah,
Um,
whether they're seen as like the pinnacle of goodness or not, like Mother Teresa,
right,
even had
right,
lots and lots of people saying how horrible she was,
mm-hmm,
and she's like one of the most saintly people in history.
right, right, absolutely true. So you have to recognize you are amazing, dude. You are, and you have to live your life like it. Otherwise, you'll hold yourself back from what you're capable of. And yeah, that sounds egotistical, right? It makes it sound gross, but that's accompanied by the understanding that that applies to everybody.
Mm.
And I'm going to treat everybody like that.
Mhm.
So then you get in the right page. That's humility again, right? It's a balance of, it's humility is understanding value and appropriately responding to that. That's all that humility is. It's not putting ourselves like we're poop on someone's shoe. So, anyways, with that, I know it's kind of rather intense, and I talked for quite a long time, and I apologize for repeating myself multiple times, but I
Don't
really
be
want to
poop on
get
the
this
shoe.
through. Poop on the shoe?
Don't be poop
Not
on the
with you.
shoe.
What did Joe got to say?
I love what you were saying there, Ryan, and Ryan has there's a couple insights that I can give you to go along with what Ryan said, Cherry. One was first thing I noticed today, because I was out doing inspections today. Today was an inspections day. It was horrible actually, because
Hmm.
the last 2 days I've been in the studio all day, and I've been
Ah,
just like, I've been playing and
yeah, buddy.
recording and having and working on, we're getting I worked on the cover for the book. I finished that, and everybody said it looked good, so we can send it, which is great. But like, but it's just been all studio stuff, and I've been in heaven because that's where I come alive, and it's where I love to be. And then today I went out and did inspections because it's my job to make money. But there was something I noticed. because you could. I don't know if you're like me, but when I would when I look at people who live in like very nice neighborhoods, have very expensive houses, and drive very fancy cars and all this kind of stuff, I kind of put them on a different level. I'm just kind of like, oh, and you always kind of see them. They're like the shiny people, they're like the glittery people, and it's like, hey, like, oh, if only I could be more like that. Maybe my life would be better, if I was more like that. If I was, if I had more material goods and more money to buy that stuff and everything, right? And you just kind of I kind of have a tendency to set them above me because they've accomplished more materially than me, right? I know that's something that's wrong with me probably. But I noticed something today. It was very interesting because I was going through those neighborhoods today because mortgage troubles hit people of
Absolutely.
all walks of life. No matter somebody who has high income, low income, whatever. There are mortgage issues that happen to all people, all strata of society, right?
Mhm.
And I noticed as I was going through some of these wealthy neighborhoods, you know what everybody's doing? Because everybody's on quarantine, lockdown, right? But it was a nice day out, so people were outside. You know what they were doing? They're standing outside in their grubby clothes. They got their dirty stained shorts and their curry stained t-shirts and their, like all kinds of whatever, like they're just in holes in their clothes and everything, and their hair's all jacked up and like. And I saw one dude driving around in his BMW, and he had his back seat full of toilet paper. He still hasn't gotten the memo that the toilet paper thing doesn't matter. Like,
He's on delivering duty. All those
yep.
people who couldn't get it.
But like normally when I see somebody driving around in a really nice, flashy, expensive BMW, like they've got some like super nice clothes on too, and they got maybe they have a really fancy hat or like their hairstyle's just cut just right. This guy just looked like he just got out of bed. Man, he like had a pajama shirt on and his hair was all like off in some weird direction and everything. I'm just like, man, people are people. It doesn't matter. People are people. We assign value to people based on such weird, fickle things. We totally do. But truly, we're all people. Every single one of us is going to have to eat sometime in the near future. Every single one of us is going to have to sleep sometime in the near future. Every one of us has some kind of problem. Every single one of us starts to smell bad after a few days. Every single one of us, our breath starts to smell bad if we don't brush our teeth, if we don't take care of that. Every single one of us. We
Mine
all
actually starts to
have.
smell nicer.
Really?
Yeah, like the long mask.
Are you sure? Yep.
No,
Little Miss Fancy went to go eat dinner. And so now her breath smells like dinner.
which is wonderful.
I'm sure. I'm sure it was wonderful dinner. But at any rate, but we're all people. We all have the same type of stuff going on. And that today really leveled the playing field for me because as I'm seeing people all walking around in their pajama pants and their stained up t-shirts and they're sitting there on their lawns or they're doing whatever, they got their little lawn chairs set out in front of their garage. Like usually I only see the people sitting out on their porches are in the low income, like they're in the hood, right? Like there's all kinds of people sitting out on their porches, you know but now everybody's sitting out on their porches,
Yep.
right? So we're all people, man. It's all good. So that's the first thing. We're all people, and you are no exception. Another thing, I noticed something that you were talking about how you're noticing that other people seem to be praised and acclaimed and stuff, and you're not. I know from experience that a lot of praise and acclaim is dangerous.
Mm,
It is very, very dangerous because it turns into an addiction.
yeah.
When I was younger, I was praised and acclaimed a lot because I had a lot of apparently my IQ was high or something, and so like they had all these tests. It turned out I was pretty much a normal kid, but like I was able to focus in school or something, and so they thought I was this super bright kid, and so all these people thought I was amazing, but really I'm just like a normal person, like whatever, it's just
Yeah.
I was able to focus
You had an
or
affinity
something.
for focus
Yeah,
tasks.
yeah. So and that's fine, whatever. But I'm just a regular person, but the acclamations that came as a result of that felt really good, as they do. But then they started to stop. And that felt like it was terrible. And what had happened, I didn't recognize it at the time because I was younger, but now I recognize, I look back, I'm like, that was an addiction. That was an addiction for me. It was something that I felt compelled to try and get. And so then I would go out of my way to try and get more acclamation. And there is a saying, a guy said, when it comes to a lot of praise and acclamation and all that kind of stuff, he said, if you feed a hungry bird, you create a monster. So if someone's going around trying to seek praise and acclaim, and all you do is you just keep feeding that, what happens is you create a monster. And it's not necessarily that you create a bad person, it's just you create an addict. The monster is not the person, the monster is the addiction to the praise and acclaim.
Hmm.
And so you're in a great spot because you're kind of flying under the radar. That's the perfect spot to be. Because now you don't have to worry about all that. Maybe it's something that you just felt so drained of for so long. Maybe it's something that you've been deprived of for so long. It just kind of aches. I understand that. I understand. But Ryan was talking about, you know what? We all are amazing. We all are awesome. Every single one of us. You are awesome, and I'm awesome, and all of us. But how do you get yourself to feel awesome when you don't feel like you're awesome? And Ryan taught me the answer to this, and I'm glad. I don't think he mentioned it. At least I didn't hear him mention it.
Probably not.
But the way to make yourself feel like you're awesome is pursue virtue. Pursue good. Pursue being good. Not just looking good. I know people who are like their whole thing is they want to look like they're good parents to the people around them. But
Hmm.
in doing so, they forget that they should just be good parents. And that sometimes good parenting doesn't look like good parenting
Right.
in public. But, and I see this all the time, because, I have kids and so I'm around all kinds of other parents. And so like a lot of people put a lot of stock in just their appearance. But what's important is what's actually going on in your heart. So what you do then is you start pursuing virtues, and you can start with the 7 cardinal virtues. Look those up. I'll give you that to look up. Or there's also Ben Franklin had a list of 13 virtues. Because Ben Franklin, now we think about Ben Franklin, he was like America's first millionaire. He created all kinds. He was like one of the first people to create franchising. He did all kinds of great stuff. And he's one of the founders of our country. He's an amazing historical figure. But he was a jerk when he was a kid, when he was younger. And he was told, like, he got a friend told him how, Ben, we know you're smart. We don't care that you know everything. In fact, it's kind of hurtful that you just are always right and you're always telling us how we're wrong and you're always story topping us and stuff like that. The guy was a jerk. So when he got that little bit of wisdom from his friend, he was like, okay, I'm going to start making some changes. So he had a list of 13 virtues. That This is Ben Franklin now, right? And he was like, I'm going to take a week and I'm going to work on one of these. I'm going to focus on one. Because if you look at all 13, it's a big deal. And if you look at even the 7 cardinal virtues, if you just look at all 7 of them and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to get better in all those areas, it's overwhelming. It's crazy. So there's my chair squeak. Oh no, it's gone.
Yeah, you got it, buddy.
Dang it.
It showed up just for a moment.
Yes. So you're in the perfect spot right now because you're kind of, like I said, you're flying under the radar. You're kind of off everybody's radar screen of the praise and acclamation and stuff, right? And that's perfect because now you can get to the important stuff of working on you. And you know what? It's going to take a while for people to notice. And people aren't going to notice in the same way. People aren't going to praise and acclaim you the same way for that. Because for one reason, when you start living a virtuous life, it makes people who aren't living a virtuous life very uncomfortable. Because you come in as a shining light and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not shining light like that. So you still are going to feel a little bit lonely. But the inner peace and confidence that comes as a result of that is absolutely priceless. And you find out you do not need praise from any other person. The most virtuous person in history was Jesus Christ, in my opinion, and they murdered him for it.
And when he spoke in public, they banished him.
Yes.
Like they were like, at first they liked him, but then he started talking more and they're like, yeah, we needed this guy to shut up.
Yep. And so they killed him.
And they tried to kill him and then he didn't. They couldn't get to him. So they tried to kill him again and they couldn't get to him. And then eventually he knew his time was, there. And so he's like, all right, you guys can have me, basically. But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? He got more praise after his death than he ever got living.
Yeah. And look, I mean, whether you are a Christian or not, that one person has impacted the world historically more than any other person in history. And I would argue that that's pretty factual, but
they have actually a list of the highest influential people in history. And they actually, if I remember correctly, now this is debatable, but they put Paul first, and they put Jesus second.
Okay. But who's Paul pointing to?
Exactly. Right? So
whatever.
Yeah.
But at any rate,
then the rest of them are not Christian people at all. But it is really interesting that even like scholars who have no religious affinity or whatever alignment rather, they even say, look, like these people changed the world forever. And so whether you're a Christian or not, that's not like trying to get you to become a Christian by saying that. Basically, we're just saying like that type of lifestyle is what changes life for everybody.
It does. It absolutely
I mean,
does.
both of them were killed. Both of them were crucified. Both of them had plenty of enemies.
Well, Paul wasn't crucified.
Oh, right. Peter was.
He was chopped.
All of them were crucified except for John, and Paul was chopped.
Yeah. They couldn't crucify him because he was a Roman citizen. So
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So they chopped him. You're right.
But at any rate, religion aside, pursue virtues, because that's good no matter what religion you are. Virtue is universal. And as you do that, I would argue it's easier with faith to pursue virtue, but you can do it regardless. And the inner confidence and peace that comes as a result is so, so priceless. I remember Ryan and his brother Kyle both, they were the ones who taught me about this, about real, like to do it for real. And I had been struggling along and trying and kind of faking it, and then they started helping me learn the deep down and how it's not showy. It's not overly apparent. It's just an internal game. But as you do it, all the need for other people to point stuff out, it all just melts. It goes away because you realize, wait, I'm becoming a solid person. I'm becoming a real solid person here. And it doesn't matter what people say. Like, people can come and bombard me with whatever. And I don't care because I've become more and more steadfast. And as the more I pursue virtue, the more steadfast and solid I become. People that people that any interaction they have with me, there are people out there that they're every time I deal with them, they're just mean and they try to do whatever they can to hurt me specifically. Like, that's their goal. It's not that they're trying to do something right and they think I'm wrong. It's just that they're trying to do something hurtful towards me. And even in that, I was like, I look at them and I feel bad for them because I'm like, man, what a painful life that must be to think that that's what you have to do. And the only reason I can think like that, it used to be I would be defensive and I would be like, and it would be scary to interact with them. But now it's just like, I just feel sorry for them. But that's how you do it. That's how, I mean, regardless of whatever happens, and all the past is the past.
Mm-hmm.
That's why on Double Cup of Joe show, which all you should come to, we do our 3-step process, which is what are you thankful for? What are you looking forward to? And what are you going to do today to move forward? It's a total forward looking thing because the thankfulness sets you in a good mood. The forward looking, then it shuts down the past. The past is, we can't do anything about it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. We can be thankful for some of those experiences and thankful for the fruits they've brought in our lives. But now from there, it's just a total shift to forward looking. What can I do today to increase in virtue? Which one of those virtues am I going to pick today to try and do better at? And then you can totally go do it. But anyway, that's pretty much what I have for you, Cherry. So yes, Princess, I love that. I love that quote. The past is history, the future is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Yeah. That's very true. Wave Slayer, what Double Cup of Joe show is about. Don't Worry Wednesday, we're handling topics here that are struggles people are challenged with. I like to think of Double Cup of Joe show as the preventative medicine to the problems, because what we try to do is we talk about those good things, those good habits. I think next week our whole thing is going to be about relationships, except for when we're handling the topics people are posting. I think we might do those on Fridays, guys, just so you know. So if you're posting topics in there, I know my Gary, you have, and Joseph Kennedy, you've posted stuff in the Double Cup of Joe topics. I think we're going to do those on Fridays.
Would you call it free
for all Fridays?
Yeah, I like that.
Yep, because and we can just handle as many of those topics as we possibly can in an episode, in whatever, in 45 minutes to an hour, however long it takes us.
But Double Cup of Joe show, from my point of view, is a great way to get your mind on track for the whole day. Just like Joe said, this is where Don't Worry Wednesdays, where we try to solve problems, or help people solve problems, because we don't solve them. And Double Cup of Joe show is where you get your mind in the place where you don't have problems.
Well, you're still going to have problems.
You're going to have problems,
faced with problems.
Right, but you're going to have a solution before you get there. Right. Yeah. It sets you in a good attitude. It's great. It's a great reason to wake up early and stay on a schedule. To be honest, that's a good point as well. Snowlock Holmes. But yeah, it's really cool. So, I know that I just feel great throughout the day whenever I can pop into one of those. So,
yep,
it's great.
Yeah, and Ryan will just stay up until it starts sometimes. So that's an option as well. For I know Wave Slayer, you said it's 4 a.m. for you. Hey, if you don't have anything better to do and you wanna stay up, that'd be great.
It's up to you, obviously.
I know I got the squeaky chair. It's great.
Yeah.
But that's what, it's still there. You can watch it afterward. It's
Mhm.
okay. We just won't you just won't be in the chat with us,
Yeah.
which, hey,
These
that's okay.
these are the shows that are the combat against all the crazy news and stuff going on right now.
Mhm.
Mm, so yeah, I'd attend them.
Yep, we have fun. And I saw
Yeah, they have
Joseph
fun.
Bohan in the chat there a minute ago. Free for all Friday. There he is. Yep. And
Yeah.
he's him and I are co-hosting, and it's super duper fun. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm excited. It's only like 20 minutes until Saturday. So yeah, we should probably end this. What do you say, Joe?
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. Thank you so much, Cherry, for the topic. I hope some of that was helpful for you. Thank you everybody for being here. You guys are amazing and wonderful. Tomorrow, go to the Twitch stream. Tomorrow and Sunday, both. If you're available, it's hard for me to get to the Twitch streams because the Saturdays and Sundays are like family days for me. So I'm kind of uber focused with my kids and everything. So we have a good time. But um on Tuesdays and Thursdays also they do Twitch streaming, and I try to make as many as I can because it's so much fun. There are games in the chat, and they're ever expanding. There's duels for potards, and there's heists for potards, and there's gambling of potards. And then when you run out, people can give them to you now. You can get potards for free from people. And Princess has like 40,000 of them, so she'd be happy to give you at least two.
Yeah. Yeah, we can share potards. If you show up, we'll share them.
Yeah, share
If you
potards.
show up, you're like new and it's like, hey, or you don't come very often, we'll be like, yeah, we'll give you some.
Yep. And Jesse's got like 150,000. He's not going to give you any.
Yeah, more like at least 200. Yeah, that's fair. Gotta give him a starting bank, something to move with.
Actually, I take that back. Jesse so graciously he gave me some the other day.
Oh,
So thank you, Jesse. You're the best. But at any rate, so yes, go to the Twitch streams, bookmark it, or whatever. Go there, follow them, and turn on the notifications. You have to turn on the notifications to be notified. It's not like an automatic thing. So yes, turn them on, and then you'll know exactly when they go on, and they play games and have fun, and the chat room's fun, and yeah. So go there and hang out. Um, and then come back Monday morning, Double Cup of Joe show. We will be there 7 a.m. Eastern time, and we'll also be back here on Don't Worry Wednesday, the Monday edition, which is called Don't Muddle Monday. In the meantime, you guys have a wonderful life. We
yes.
love you so much. Go to bss.studio. Stay tuned for the changes there. Keep an eye on it, and keep being awesome. You guys are
Yeah.
amazing. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
I was like,